is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to my continued coverage of the 2017 National Football League playoffs. We've gotten it down to the final four, and then there were four. Count them, 4 teams left in this marathon of the National Football League 2016-2017 season. And remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and these 2 teams have outlasted, or these 4 teams, I should say, 2 in each conference, have outlasted the rest of the group in this season, and we'll see who's able to get through to the final game, that being Super Bowl 51 in Houston. 2 great matchups, one in each conference. We're going to talk about these games extensively and break them down and talk about who I think is going to be victorious and move on for a chance to play for the Lombardi here in a second. But first, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. We're changing the game over here. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. We changing the game, man. Want you to be a part of the family known as the Louie Tee Network family. So go ahead, hit that button, and become a member of the family here on the Louie Tee Network. Also, I'm on Twitter, and if you haven't read the scroll in the back, you should. It's there for a reason. I don't want to distract you from what I'm saying, but the scroll is there for a reason. Take a gander at it. I'm going to be on Twitter all game long. I've been on Twitter all playoffs long, for that matter, and I do a halftime show on Twitter as well. So if you're not already following me, shame on you. Go ahead and do that. At In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Going to be on Twitter all game long, tweeting as well as the halftime show. And also, I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. All of my social media platforms right down below, so you can't miss them. Go ahead and take care of that. Subscribe, like, follow, all of that good stuff. Let's jump into these breakdowns. We start with the first game on Sunday. Both of these contests are going to be on Sunday. No Saturday football. That's dead and gone. We're now strictly a Sunday football day fan base now. So all we have left are 2 Sundays in this league. One coming up this weekend with the 2 games, the last doubleheader that we'll have this season, and then finally Super Bowl 51 2 weeks from Sunday in Houston. Should be a dandy. No matter what the matchup ends up being, we're not going to be disappointed. Whether it's the Falcons or the Packers coming out of the NFC, whether it's the Steelers or the Patriots, we're not going to be disappointed. We're going to have a hell of a football game. You're either talking Matt Ryan versus Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger, or you're either talking Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, you can't lose with either one of these matchups, no matter who wins. There's no crashing of the party here. There's not like a Kansas City. No disrespect to Chiefs fans out there. No disrespect to a team that might have slipped through the cracks, like a Oakland Raiders team with, say, Connor Cook at quarterback, or even the Houston Texans for that matter, had they found a way to pull the upset last week versus the Patriots. There's no one that can crash this party. We've got 2 really good NFL franchises and 4 really good football teams playing in this final weekend, championship weekend of the National Football League. So I'm excited. As a football fan, this is what you want. I mean, obviously you want your team to be there first and foremost, but if you can't get your team, you just want good football, and we're guaranteed to get good football with these 4 teams left. These games are going to be exciting on Sunday, but whoever wins and moves on to the Super Bowl, we're going to have a great Super Bowl as well. So I'm really excited. Let's start with the first game on Sunday, however. The number 2 seeded Atlanta Falcons at home. The final time they will be at home, calling the Georgia Dome their home, as they will open up their new stadium next season. But in the meantime, the Georgia Dome lives for one more night in Atlanta, as they'll be hosting the Green Bay Packers, a rematch of a regular season contest that took place in the Georgia Dome that the Falcons were able to pull out late in that ball game, a shootout, which is what we expect this to be in this playoff game. 2 teams that can score with the best of them, Aaron Rodgers is really hot right now. Matt Ryan has been hot all season. Even though he's Matty Ice, he's been hot all season long. And I look forward to him winning the MVP trophy. And he's continued that type of play throughout the playoffs, scorching and blazing the Seattle Seahawks a week ago. We'll see if he can continue to do that against the Green Bay Packers, who's being led right now by the hottest quarterback in the playoffs, that being Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about him and his team's chances to win this game in a second. But let's start with the home team here, the Atlanta Falcons. I look at this football team, and they've come light years from where they started on the defensive side of the football. And that's where I'm going to start. You want to talk Falcons football. You want to talk Kyle Shanahan. You want to talk about that high-octane, potent Falcons offense. But that's not where they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game on the defensive side of the football if they were to advance, because they're going to have to find ways either via pressure, or turnovers, what it may have you. They're going to have to find ways to get stops in this game. It's not going to be easy because Aaron Rodgers is red hot right now, but somehow, some way, they're going to have to find ways to get stops. And I think the first thing that they have to do, and the Packers are probably going to make it easy on them in this regard, but they're going to have to find a way to stop the run. The one thing you don't want to do in this game is allow the Packers an opportunity to have balance. Make Aaron Rodgers beat you in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 situations. Don't allow the Packers to get 4 on first down on a run and set up a 2nd and 6 where they can run it again or pass it. Those options shouldn't be available. Don't allow them to have play action available to them in this game. If you allow the run game to be consistent enough, that sets up opportunities to run play action fake and give Aaron Rodgers some shots down the field. Look, this Falcons defense has come a long way, as I mentioned before, and they're starting to generate a consistent pass rush. Did a really good job last week against Russell Wilson of containing him, keeping him in pocket, and even getting after him, running some twists and some stunts, doing a really good job of having guys looping inside, beating guards and centers, and getting to the quarterback. But this Packers offensive line is a lot better than the one that this Falcons defense faced a week ago. They're not going to be able to get to Rodgers as easily. And even if they do, remember, he's probably the most dangerous quarterback outside of the pocket. So, again, keeping the Packers in long down and distance situations gives you the best opportunity. It's still Aaron Rodgers, and he can still pick up 11 on 3rd and 10. But you want to put yourself in a position where you can have a chance to come after him and maybe get off the field, or if you feel more comfortable dropping 7 or 8 defenders and just keeping him contained in the pocket, so be it. But put yourself in a position where Rodgers can't win immediately on 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 or even 3rd and 6 with a quick slant or an out-breaking route, something easy. What the Packers did a great job of last week against the Cowboys was on first downs. That, like I said, the Packers may make it easy on you. They may not run it a lot in this game. They didn't run it a ton against the Cowboys. What they did to supplement the running game was the short passing game. They used the short passing game to supplement and substitute the run game by little quick outs and little quick pick plays on first down, just to get 3 or 4, just to get that set of downs started with a positive gain and not put themselves in a 2nd and 10 obvious passing situation. So they love to get the quick game going. Obviously, Rodgers loves to get you offsides or get you with 12 men on the field. That's something else. You can't. Cowboys had a big mistake early in the game, would have gotten off the field on the 3rd and 5. Instead, Rodgers gets them offsides, draws that penalty, gets a free 5 yards, and extends the drive with the first down. So these are things that I'm pretty sure the Falcons are preparing for as we talk about this game. But defensively, stop the run. And like I said, I don't think that's going to be a big part of the Packers' game plan. They're going to win on the right arm of Aaron Rodgers, or they're going to lose on the right arm of Aaron Rodgers if you're the Green Bay Packers. So if you're the Falcons, the easiest way to make sure that that happens is to stop the run and not give them that option and not allow them to have another dimension of that playbook opened up by having play action fake available to them. If they're not running the football successfully or they're not even trying, then why would you suck up for a play action fake? Why would you suck up for a run fake? It just doesn't make sense. So you can truly take that element out of the Packers playbook if you're able to stop the run early, because they will go away from the run if it is not effective. I can assure you of that. The next thing, if you're the Falcons defensively, is if you get opportunities to make Aaron Rodgers pay, you have to make him pay. Last week, the Cowboys got opportunities, and they did, in fact, make him pay. Now, they did have some mistakes that were costly in that game, but Jeff Heath was able to pick a pass off. He had another pick, actually, late in the ball game that would have really given the Cowboys a great shot at winning the game. but it was called back due to a pass interference penalty. Don't put yourself in positions where you're not looking for the football and Rodgers is he's gonna give his receivers a chance. You have to locate football if you're going to have a chance, or you will pick up PIs in this game. Don't give up anything cheap nor deep. All right, keep everything in front of you. Nothing explosive. Make the Packers earn everything that they get. Don't give up any 50-yard pass interference penalties because you didn't locate the football. Don't give up any 66-yard touchdowns because your eyes were nosy in the backfield and you allowed a receiver to get behind you. Make the Green Bay Packers earn everything that they get because penalties do happen. Deflections do happen. Mistakes do happen throughout the course of a football game. And if you can make them have to earn it on an 11, on a 13, on a 14-play drive, something may go awry throughout the course of that drive. You're going to have to find ways to get off the field because Aaron Rodgers and company are hot right now. And so it's not going to be easy, but you're going to have to find ways to stop them from scoring because if they're scoring at the rate that they've been scoring of late, remember, 38 in the first playoff game versus the Giants, who arguably were the best defense coming in to the playoffs, and then another 34 points last week versus the Dallas Cowboys. So this is a team that is scoring with the best of them. Falcons know about scoring. They were the highest scoring team in the regular season, but this is not the regular season, and these aren't your grandfather's Green Bay Packers. Okay, these guys can score points, and Aaron Rodgers is one of the best at getting that accomplished. So from a defensive standpoint, you're going to have to try to generate some turnovers. If you get opportunities, you got to take advantage of it. Don't give up anything cheap, nothing deep, and stop the run and make Aaron Rodgers beat you in third and long situations. See if you can't get after him on third downs. You go to the offensive side of the football, it's really simple for me. I wouldn't change a thing that you've been doing. This Packers defense isn't very good. Let's be honest and frank here. You can score points on this Packers defense. You did it before. You can do it again. Run the football, be balanced, have Matt Ryan spread it around judiciously like he's done all season long. I don't see why you would have a problem with that. My biggest thing is you cannot afford to bog down in the red zone. You must, I repeat, must, all caps, score touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers and company, when they get down there, they're looking for sevens. They're not looking for threes. And like I said, Falcons have been one of the best in the league at doing that. So I don't expect this to be a problem. But just a little friendly reminder, if you want to win this game against Aaron Rodgers and company, you're going to need to score touchdowns. That is paramount because of how good Aaron Rodgers is at getting the football and extending the play and giving guys an opportunity to get open in the end zone. So you have to find ways to score touchdowns in this game and not settle for field goals. You go to the Packers side of things. You start with their defense. It's a bad defense. Let's face it. This is a defense that struggles just about everywhere. They're going to struggle in the run game. I think they are better. Remember, they started out the season as one of the best run defenses in the league. At one point, they were number one yardage-wise, but that's a really overrated stat because you don't know and you don't really know how to take that into consideration with other things like passing attempts. If other teams realize, what are we running for against these guys? They stink in the secondary, which the Packers do, other than their safety position. Why would we even run? Why are we running against them? So they may be giving up the least amount of rush yards, but it might be because teams are throwing it 37 times a game against them, which might have been the highest in the league at the time. So it's hard to really quantify some of these stats, especially when you're talking yardage. There's a lot of things that you don't take into consideration when you do that. But bottom line is they can stop the run well enough. It's the pass that kills this football team week in, week out. They haven't had consistency in their back half. The cornerback position has been a revolving door between rookies and young guys, and it's just been a mess for them back there, and I expect the Falcons to try to exploit that this week like they did in the regular season matchup. They're going to have to find ways to confuse Matt Ryan a little bit. You change up some of your looks. I thought they did a really good job of using some different looks against the Giants to confuse them. The Giants, they're not the Falcons, okay? The Giants have struggled offensively all season long. The Falcons, not so much. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to change up your looks. Play some trap too. Dom Capers is one of the best at coaching that up and getting his players to execute the trap too. Going to have to make some things look like one thing, turn it into something else to see if you can't bait Matt Ryan into a mistake or two, because this defense, frankly, isn't good enough to consistently get stops. So you're going to have to find ways, first and foremost, to stop the run, because the Falcons, if they remain balanced, you're going to lose this football game. If they can run the football effectively, keep play action fake in their back pocket, and get this Packers defense tired by stretching them out, running the football with that zone run blocking scheme consistently, eventually gaping holes will open up, and then the passing game will also open up as well. You must make them one-dimensional again. If you're going to have any shot with this bad secondary, you're going to need to put them in the best position to succeed, which will be third and long situations, which will allow guys like Clay Matthews and Julius Peppers and company to get to the quarterback. You're going to have to find ways to win on early down and distances if you're the Green Bay Packers, first and foremost. You can't give up 5 on first down and 10. You can't give up 6. You can't give up 4. You got to put them in a situation where Matt Ryan's looking to distribute on 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7. If he's looking to distribute on 2nd and 6, you might get play action fake, and just like that, Julio Jones over the top, or Taylor Gabriel, or Aldrick Robinson, or one of these guys that can really pick him up, put him down, is behind your defense for a 66-yard touchdown. That's exactly what you don't want if you're the Green Bay Packers. Put the Falcons in a situation. They're for as many points as they score, the Falcons are not an explosive offense. One of the teams with the fewest amount of explosive plays in this league. They don't have a bunch of guys that can light you up, or that have lit teams up this season with explosive plays. You got Julio Jones with about 20 catches of 20 yards or more, and then everyone else is like 8 or less. So they're not killing you in that department necessarily, but they are matriculating the football down the field. You have to find ways to get off the field on third downs, which has been an Achilles heel of this Packers defense, especially in the postseason, especially last week. So we'll see what they're able to do from that standpoint. But defensively, look, with the way the offense is playing, you don't need a ton of stops. Just a couple, maybe a turnover or 2 will do. You're just going to need to do enough. This defense isn't great. We know this, but the offense is. So if you can do enough, much like the Falcons, same thing applies there. If they can do enough defensively, their defense, though, is better than this Packers defense. But the Packers offense may be better than that Falcons offense. Who's to say? I know which quarterback I'd take right now. But that being said, the Packers offensively, with what I just said, you're going to have to win this game offensively. If you're going to win this game, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be 34 points most likely, 37, and it's going to be a shootout. You're going to have to get it done offensively. You go into this game as the Packers knowing, look, if we get 9 possessions in this game, we need to score on about 7 of them, straight up. And they need to be touchdowns. You may be able to kick a field goal in there, but if we score on 7 of 9 possessions and they're all touchdowns, or if we score on 7 of 9 possessions, really, if you score on 6 of those possessions and but 2 of them are field goals or touchdowns, it's 34 points. You'll take 34 points because that might win you this game. Most likely it will win you this game, but you're going to have to score it. So you already know, if you're the Green Bay Packers, that you must score points, and in bunches in this game. You're going to need 30 plus to even have a shot. 34 to me is the magic number in this game if you're looking to win. Much like last week, 34 got it done. You're going to need 34 again if you're going to win. That's just me. With this football team that you're playing against in the Atlanta Falcons that is red hot offensively, that can score with the best of them, you're going to need 34 to get it done. And so I think it's going to be a repeat of the last time these two teams met in the regular season, which was just a beautiful football game. Right down to the wire. Matt Ryan had it last, or he had it in the most realistic position last. He took his team down the field and they won the football game on that final drive. I think it might be the other way around, much like last week in Dallas. Rodgers has it last, and he knows what to do with it. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers for the first time this playoffs, which probably is a bad omen for them because I've picked against them every single week leading up to this game in the playoffs, and they've gotten it done. Now that I'm coming around to the Aaron Rodgers train, which I was never off of it, I thought the defense wouldn't be able to get it done. I think they might not get it done now, but I'm going with the Green Bay Packers in this game in a shootout. Aaron Rodgers is a bad, bad man. And until someone is able to be badder than the baddest man walking in the NFL, I just don't know if anyone's going to be able to get him out of there right now with the way he's playing. And they don't even have a full complement of receivers right now, and he's still carving teams up. This guy's dangerous, highly combustible and explosive, and I see them scoring enough in this game. 34-31, another Mason Crosby field goal sends the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl. You go over to the AFC side of things, and it's amazing. My Super Bowl prediction still has a chance to come to fruition before the season. Go check the archives. I said Packers and Steelers. I thought both teams would be better in the regular season than they were, but both teams got hot at the right time, which is all that matters. Both teams won their division. Both teams got in. Both teams have done damage since being in. And now the Pittsburgh Steelers, who played this Patriots team in the regular season, looks vastly different. There was no Roethlisberger in that game. Le'Veon Bell still was finding his way. It's a totally different Pittsburgh Steelers offense and team now. The defense actually is better as well. They're flying around. They're making some plays. They can be exposed. They still have holes. We'll talk about that here in a second. But they're going up against arguably the most successful team in NFL history. The winning combination, or as I like to call them, the B&B winning factory of Belichick and Brady, who will be defending their home turf, which to me is always the key for them this time of the year. When they get home field advantage, normally they're going to the Super Bowl because their path, when paved through Foxborough, normally leads straight to the Super Bowl. And the years that they don't make it, normally they have to go to the road, on the road to someone, Denver, whomever, Pittsburgh, whatever the case may be, and they don't get it done. So just them being in Foxborough gives them a distinct advantage because they don't lose there very often, especially in the postseason. But that being said, this is a Pittsburgh Steelers team that is battle-tested. They're tough. They've been here before. They're not afraid of the Patriots. They know that they can beat the Patriots. The Patriots aren't invincible. We'll start with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this particular breakdown here. I look at the Steelers, and I think the biggest key for them is establish the run game with Le'Veon Bell. L.Bell. If he can come out, run it effectively, and I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick is telling his team the same exact thing. Look, we need to stop the run game first and foremost. If they can't run and Ben has to win it, I'm not confident that Ben can win it on his own anymore. Back in the day, Ben used to be able to put the team on his shoulders and throw it 42 times and complete 31 of them for 379 yards and 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. Nowadays, when Ben throws it more than 30 times, you're getting at least 1, possibly 2 interceptions now. So I'm not sure that Ben can strap this team on his back without making a mistake at some point in the game. They need the assistance of the run game. They need L.Bell, Le'Veon Bell, to be the beast that he's been all season long and into the postseason. If he can continue his tear, I mean, he lit up the Miami Dolphins, set a Pittsburgh Steelers franchise record for most rushing yards in a game in the playoffs. And I'd like to think he might have topped it last week against the Chiefs. Another good defense. He shreds them. This time on the road, it would not shock me in the least if he went to Foxborough and tore those boys a new asshole. They're not that great up front, are the New England Patriots. They can be run on. So we'll see if the Steelers have success. I have an inkling that Bill Belichick is going to make a concerted effort to take away what the Steelers do best. And right now, that's run the football. Also, Antonio Brown will be something that he'll focus on. I'm pretty sure just like that commercial, I think it's a Visa commercial or it's a MasterCard. It's one of those credit card commercials or something like that. You're going to see a matchup where their best corner is going to shadow Antonio Brown. So I fully expect to see that matchup, and it should be a good one. He's emerged, and his name it's escaping me right now, but it'll come to me eventually. He's emerging as one of the league's better corners. It's amazing what confidence, and I talk about confidence all the time and how it begets winning and how winning begets confidence. And since he's made that play, and I'm talking about Butler, since he's made that play in the Super Bowl, his confidence has skyrocketed, and he's playing like a true number one corner. The Patriots aren't going to let this guy walk in free agency. He's definitely going to command some money, and they're going to have to pony up. And he's playing like a top-notch corner right now. And he's going to probably draw the task of following Antonio Brown around. That should be a lot of fun to watch. But in any event, for the Steelers, they're going to have to be better in the red zone. Last week, 6 field goals. That's not going to get it done against the New England Patriots. Flat out, not going to be good enough. We saw them do that earlier in the season, in the regular season versus Cincinnati. Not going to be good enough. You have to score touchdowns if you're going to win this game. And really, when you look at the damage they did against the Miami Dolphins, there were a lot of big plays in that game. Antonio Brown with 2 big touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell with a nice touchdown run from about 18 yards out or so. Another run from about, let's call it 12 yards out. So they're going to have to find ways to score in the red zone. They struggled mightily last week. Got the ball inside the 5, first and goal from about the 4. Couldn't get in. They struggled to get in the end zone. And if this is the week you decide you want to kick 5 field goals, you will be going home with a loss. Okay? They're going to have to find ways to score. And again, the Patriots aren't the high-octane offense that we've come accustomed to seeing. They don't have all of their horses. They're not going to score 30. This isn't like the NFC version. You're not going to have to score 30 to win this game. But you're going to have to score more than 18, which is what they scored last week versus the Chiefs. You're going to have to score 24, 27 points to win this game because the Patriots can score, and they're going to force you to have to score. You're going to have to get in the end zone if you're the Steelers. But for me, the biggest key is run the football with Le'Veon Bell and have other guys step up. Don't know if Darius Green is going to play. Doesn't matter. Other guys are going to have to step up, whether it's DeMarcus Ayers, whether it's Kobe Hamilton, doesn't matter. At this point, guys have to step up. Eli Rogers, other guys are going to have to be unsung heroes because they're going to try to take Antonio Brown out of this game with Butler. They're going to try to take all the options that Ben likes to go to out of the game, whether it's Eli Rogers, whomever. Guys are going to have to step up and make some plays defensively. They got to be athletic, fast, and fly to the football. The one thing you can do to the Patriots is you can out-physical them. We've seen it done before. That doesn't happen very often, but in the playoffs, we've seen them out-physical, and that can happen. Last year, Denver out-physicaled the New England Patriots in a hell of a football game. Both teams were physical, but the Denver Broncos were just slightly more physical. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a very physical team, whether it's Mike Mitchell or it's Ryan Shazier or it's Timmons or of late, Bud Dupree, Alvin Bud Dupree has been lighting cats up. This is a physical, fast, and ferocious Steelers defense. They're going to need to be that against Tom Brady. We saw him make some mistakes last week that are un-Brady-like. So you can force him into some mistakes if you can get pressure. All of a sudden now, Alvin Bud Dupree has turned into a menace off the edge, and they're going to need that in this game if they want any chance of winning. If he can get pressure like he's been getting, and again, don't think that Belichick hasn't been watching tape and doesn't understand that that's the guy right now that you have to block for the Pittsburgh Steelers if you're going to have success. But don't forget about James Harrison on the other side. Either they're getting pressure or the Steelers right now, and if they can continue to do that against Tom Brady. He got harassed last week. He was beat up, was Tom Brady last week, and he started to make errant throws. And we've seen Brady struggle under duress before in his career. You apply pressure, Brady will make mistakes like he did last week. So the key here for the Steelers defensively, first and foremost, and I say this about every team, don't let LeGarrette Blount kill you. Because if they find a weakness, they will exploit it. If Blount is killing you in the first half, they will just continue to turn around and hand him the football. We know the Patriots are synonymous for having a new game plan every single week. And if this week it's LeGarrette Blount up the gut 24 times, they will do that. So you must stop the run first. But I expect the Patriots to put the game on the shoulders of Tom Brady. He's been their guy throughout this historic run, and I expect them to continue to do that. And in order to get what you want out of them, you're going to have to get after Tom Brady, and you're going to have to make him uncomfortable, get him off the spot, and make him make some mistakes. And that's possible with the athleticism of this defense, but it's a young secondary that is prone to making some mistakes. Don't give up the big play if you're the Steelers. Keep everything in front of you. Make the Patriots earn their way down the field because, again, they don't have any deep threats, any real guys that scare you with legit speed. Keep everything in front of you and make Brady be methodical in this game and hope that a pass gets deflected or that he's errant or that they get to Brady as he's throwing the ball and he fumbles or something happens or you get a sack and you force them to have to punt the football. That's what you're looking for because, again, this is not a great Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So you got to find ways to get them off the football field if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the New England Patriots, you want to stay away from the mistakes, whether it be special teams, offense, defense, what may have you. No big plays. You can't give up anything over the top defensively. Offensively, stay away from the mistakes. Last week, there were too many mistakes that allowed a bad Texans offense to stay in the football game. No dumb, boneheaded penalties. That penalty by Rowe last week changed the game. That could have been a blowout. It was well on its way to looking like a blowout. He makes that mistake. The Texans get points. They hang around in that football game. So stay away from the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers, anything like that. I mean, we've seen this team be dominant this season and then give away leads and make games competitive and close and interesting because of mistakes, fumbles, turnovers, penalties. Don't do that in this game. Make the Steelers make plays. Don't make mistakes that allow the Steelers to make plays. So to me, if the Patriots don't beat themselves, they've got a great shot at winning this football game just from the standpoint of A, they're home, B, they have Tom Brady, and C, they have Bill Belichick. But outside of that, it's not a roster that scares you necessarily. Their defense is okay. It's not great. But I was asked this question by my man Ofo. What up? Shout out to my man Ofo for asking me this on Twitter. Who's the best defense left? I'd have to say it's probably the New England Patriots. And that's not saying much. Their defense is okay. It's not great. So they can, however, set the tone in this game by stopping the run. If they're able to shut down the Steelers' run game, and there's only really been one team this season to do that, and that was the Ravens, shutting down Le'Veon Bell. If they can shut down the run game and make Ben Roethlisberger, I don't know if I trust Ben to win a game by himself. Ben's been turning the football over very much over the last 6 weeks or so. I watched him in Buffalo, a nasty day in Buffalo. What's new? Throw 3 interceptions. They still won because Le'Veon Bell went over 200 yards rushing in that game. But Ben was horrible in that game. I watched Ben against the Dolphins, and as well as he played early, threw 2 interceptions in that game. One was a ill-advised throw that he got injured on. Like, what are you doing? It's late in the game. You're up big. Take the sack. Throw it away. Don't turn it over, though. Like, Ben is making mistakes. Chiefs game, you got a chance to get in the end zone, and he throws the football, it gets deflected. You want to say it's not his fault, but you got to see that guy there, and you can't make that throw and get it deflected and picked off in a chance for a scoring opportunity. Ben's been struggling of late. And I saw him miss some open receivers. It was cold in Kansas City. It's probably going to be cold in Foxborough. I saw him miss some throws that he just doesn't miss very often. And again, there weren't the greatest conditions in Kansas City. It doesn't matter. Like I said before, stop the run, force Ben Roethlisberger to beat you. And maybe you're able to force him into some mistakes. Everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing that, not stopping Le'Veon Bell. That's been a hard task for just about every team in the league this season that has played against the Steelers. So that would be priority number one. Objective number one, stop the run. You may not fully shut him down, but you must contain him and not let him dictate pace and tempo in this game, because if he does, the Steelers will wear you down defensively, and eventually they're going to get in to the end zone. Offensively, Brady's going to have to be Brady. He's going to have to use, I think, the running backs out of the backfield may not be as dynamic in this game because of the athleticism possessed by the Steelers linebacking core. You may not get the same opportunities you got last week against a slower Texans defense out of the backfield. I mean, your running back, and it's good to see him coming back and making plays. He had 3 touchdowns last week. I can assure you he won't have 3 touchdowns this week. This Steelers linebacking core is much more athletic, much more gifted, can run. So you're going to have to create some opportunities, whether it be Edelman or Amendola in the slot. You're going to need guys to win. You're going to need Martellus Bennett to show up, make some plays. You're going to need all hands on deck offensively because last week wasn't that impressive of an offensive showing for the Patriots. Up front, you got to be better. You can't allow Brady to be under siege like you did last week, or else you will lose this football game. I can assure you of that. If you play the way you played last week against the Texans, trust me, you will not win this game. Now, if you get a special teams touchdown like you did last week, great. Deion Lewis was tremendous last week. But if you don't get a special teams contribution and you play like you did last week with the turnovers and the mistakes, the penalties, you will lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mark my words. But if you play Patriots football, if you're sound in all your principles, you take care of the football, you don't turn it over, Brady's sharp, you protect him, the run game is solid. It doesn't necessarily have to be great, just solid. Keep you balanced. You can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in this football game. But I'm sticking true to my Super Bowl prediction. I said Packers, I said Steelers. I've come this far. Why the hell not? I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road because I think that they can get to Brady. They can fluster Brady. If the Texans can do it, and I know they are dynamic up front, are the Texans. But if they can get to Brady, they can fluster him. They can make him erratic. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers can do a little of the same. It's a copycat league. They're going to watch and see what the Texans did and try to duplicate it. And if they're able to do that successfully, I think they can get to Brady. I think they can force some mistakes. And I think they can win this game. I'm probably going to regret that. Probably going to be the Patriots in the Super Bowl representing the AFC. Could be the Falcons. I probably could go 0-2. It's not inconceivable. But I like my shot both ways. Both road teams going in and doing something that you rarely see in this league. Two road teams beating the home team in the championship game to get to the Super Bowl. But that's what I'm banking on. In a postseason that's been very irregular. All home teams win in wild card weekend. 2 win at home in the divisional, 2 lose on the road. And now you find yourself in a situation where one of the 1 seeds is out. And in the other conference, you got a 1 and a 3 seed. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. This should be fun. Going Steelers, but Patriots, if they don't make mistakes. I'm counting on the Patriots to make some mistakes. They've made some mistakes over the last month and a half of the season. I'm banking on them continuing to make mistakes. If they don't, they're probably going to win this game. Want to hear your thoughts, your picks, your predictions. If you read the scroll, I want it on Twitter. I want your thoughts on this game. Leave a comment. I will respond. Looking forward to hearing your guys' analysis of this game. Remember, I'm going to be on Twitter all game long, all weekend long, all Sunday long. Halftime reports for both of these games. Look forward to seeing you guys and chopping it up with you throughout the course of Sunday. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room on the Louie Tee Network. Steelers are going to win this game 23-21 over the New England Patriots. Should be a fun contest. We'll see what happens. I am not confident in either one of my picks. I'm going to be honest with you. Neither one of them are confident picks. I'm more confident in my NFC pick than I am my AFC pick, but we'll see what happens. I am not confident in either one of them. Both should be phenomenal games, and honestly, at this point, that is all that I am looking for. So remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. Even though this wasn't live, I'll be on a little bit later with a live feed that should be a lot of fun. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys. I'll see you then. Remember, make sure you subscribe to the Louie Tee Network. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, and make sure you like the Facebook page. Have a good one. I'll see you guys a little bit later on tonight. Going to have a really spirited discussion on a number of different rumors and topics. I'll see you then. Have a good one.